Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, our topic today is how to capture like an event style photo or that's shot in low light and how to edit that. So imagine if you're at a concert or any event that has very, very low light. What I want to do is I want to show you how I look for pockets of light to get the best results. Because, I mean, let's face it, if there's no light whatsoever, or if there's not interesting light, there's not a whole lot we could do. You put a flash on that camera, you're going to get harsh light coming on to the person, and in the event like a concert, let's say, you can't use flash photography. So I'll show you how the next time you go off and you're photographing some of your children after the quarantine stuff has ended, you photograph them in a play or up on stage. I'll show you how to use the pockets of light to get incredible photos and then how to use Luminar to edit them. All right, so let's get started. And welcome everyone, it's great to see all of you here. So here is a photograph of Caddy Pleasant. She's a very popular local musician here in Melbourne, Florida. Here's before and after. Here's the original. And that's how we're going to edit it using Luminar. Now, I'm going to jump over to the grid view. And let's look at the images first before I show you how I did all these edits. All right? So let me get back in. Now, you know the old saying, great photographers, the difference between a good photographer and a great photographer is the great photographer never shows you all their work. Well, I'm going to show you a lot of my images that I'm not too pleased with, but just so you can see where I started. All right, here we go. We get to the top, almost there. Actually, just page up. There we go. All right, so we're starting out. Let me move it all the way up. There we go. So I started out and I looked for pockets of light. So, and what I mean by that is look how the light is coming down on the scene. So these ones here are fine. This one just Tom's being goofy, but there's no light. There's nothing here that backlights them. I mean, it's kind of a dull, boring photo. Now, she makes it interesting because of her facial expressions. But now look at this. Now look how the light into the scene, it starts to make it look better. So I'm going to come down here, no light. All right, here we go. Now, by the way, do you remember I mentioned a while ago how if people get in your scene, how to politely get them out of your scene? Well, here it is. This one here and her husband absolutely love Caddy. They're at all of her events, but they have a bad habit of constantly getting in the way. So right here, look, they're up on stage dancing away. So what I did was my traditional, hey, look at this picture of you two. You look great. Come here, let me show you. I did it, got them behind me, took a couple shots, and then said, hey, what do you think of these? And I kept showing them these to keep them out of my frame. He got a little fresh and jumped back in. But notice after this, they're no longer in my shot because I was able to politely and jokingly get them out of the shot. All right? So back to the pockets of light. When you're photographing a band, by the way, try to pay attention to the drummer because he's back there and hardly anybody pays him attention. So here, let's see, because they were in the way, I shot Caddy a little bit tighter. There's that pocket of light, trying to get it behind her. So that meant that I had to move with it. Ooh, look at this one. Let's look at the raw info. This was shot at 3200 ISO, and I'm using a 70 to 200 millimeter lens on a Nikon D700 body with a battery grip. That's a heavy camera. I'm shooting at 1/80th of a second. I would have loved to photograph that at maybe 1 160th to maybe 1/200th of a second, or that, and ISO down to maybe 1600. This particular camera, I pushed it past its limits. That Fuji camera that they let me borrow could have shot this easily at 10,000 ISO, which means I could have froze the action so much better with a higher speed. But typically here, excuse me, what you want to do is try to get that up to about 1/160th of a second, which means shoot wide open and bump your ISO up. All right? So here we are with Caddy. And if you have questions about camera settings, please drop them in the comments. So I love this shot of Caddy. I'm going to press the letter P for it to pick. Hide this. So look how, I just love how she's up there. She's in her own little world. And then she starts playing for the camera. And notice, a lot of these are blurry. And they're blurry because I'm shooting at such a slow shutter speed for this style. So shooting in burst mode, hopefully you're going to get the shot you need. Now, every so often, when you're shooting like a concert like this, when there's nothing to shoot, photograph elements of them. In this case here, the guitarist, Norm, he loves that guitar. So I have a picture of him playing it. Again, no light whatsoever. These aren't bad, but it's really not giving me what I'm looking for. All right. Oh, finally a good shot of the drummer. All right. So now that we have that down, let me come over here. Let's take that image of Caddy. All right. So let me come over to edit. And the history, let's give it a chance. Good. And with the history, I want to start all the way at the beginning. All right. So here we are in the beginning. Nope, I didn't take it all the way down. I thought I did. Let's see. There we go. All right. So here we are in the beginning shot. Now I'm going to look at the template. And I can't stress this enough. These templates are a great starting point because they're going to do things I normally would do anyways. Right? That's one. And two, it does give me suggestions, or when I'm losing my creativity, I'll run to one of these and it helps me out. All right? So here's a new template from one of the collections, and I did choose Winter Refuge. Look at that. Before, after. All right, I'm close. I'm not 100% there yet. So I'm going to come back over, and let's start enhancing the image. Well, I'm looking at it. What I don't like is look at the background. It's a little too much. So if I come to the super contrast and under shadows, let's adjust the shadows a bit. There we go. Look at that. Now I'm getting Caddy to stand out a little bit more. Let's see what the midtones do. Good. All right, right about there is good. I like that. Good. So now I'm getting that darkness that I want, but I am noticing down here it's a little too bright. So let's drop a vignette on it. And I'm going to select her. Drop the darkness down. Here we go. Tighten it up a bit. And then I'm going to feather the light. And here's the inner light. Right about here. All right. That looks good. Before and after. All right? And there we have it. Now, let me come back over to the calendar for this section here. And you've heard of the band Far East Movement. We shot this at an HP event. So Hewlett Packard, actually, it was Windows 10. It was a Windows 10 event, and they were announcing Windows 10 for the first time. And ironically, the woman showed me Windows 10 without the taskbar. I like using the taskbar. She said, no, you don't. I said, well, yeah, I do. And she proceeded to tell me how wrong I was for not using Windows 10 icon screen, the complete icon. I didn't like it. That taught me a valuable lesson as an educator. Never tell people. If you like doing things a certain way and you're set on those ways, my job as an educator is to help you to become creative and very proficient you doing those ways. However, if you're stuck and that's what you want, I'll show you and help you how to get the most out of it using the techniques that you like. All right? So with that said, here we are, same thing, pockets of light. Let me see if I can make, I can. Let's make it largest. Look at this. Now, there's a difference between a local band and a band like this who's world known. Look at the amount of money they put into the stage presence. Oh, here we are. Look at that. So the lighting obviously is a lot better. But what happens when you get the silhouette stuff like this? You do the best you can, meter on the subject, and let this fall into darkness. Good. I'm going to come down. Next, let me do this. Edit. All right, here we go. This is one of my absolute favorite images. He wasn't lined up like this. And I couldn't go on stage and say, hey, do me a favor, let's move over just a little bit. Because when you're photographing concerts like this, that microphone is your biggest enemy. Usually it's stuck right there in the person's mouth. You're off to the side photographing. Here we go. You're off to the side photographing, and there's that microphone causing shadows and problems. So I came around to the front, knowing at some point, because he was singing still, at some point, he's going to look up and breathe, take a breath of air, and then go back to the singing. Patiently, I waited. That's how I got the shot. So when we're here, before, after, the only thing I did was use Luminar to draw attention to his face. It's a good shot, but the lighting is bad, and I don't have control over the lighting. But now in Luminar, I do. So I'm going to come over here. Of course, I opened it up using a bunch of different templates. Then, boom, right here. Let me go down to here. Look at that. That face relighting, oh, absolutely incredible, because that right there helped me, and it gave me an extra, like as if I used flash on his face. Changed up some of the colors with golden hour, and then that vignette. That vignette did a lot of the heavy lifting because it darkened everything around him, brought attention to him. And then I like to finish off every so often with Enhance AI or Accent AI, because that kind of gives me an idea of, did I miss anything? And I let AI help me with it. And then, of course, cropping it to my taste. All right? Now, before I get to the questions, keep this in mind. What's really cool about Luminar is that you don't have to go in a set order. Like in Photoshop, for example, you have a set order you have to go in. And if you go out of that order, some of the stuff may not work right. With Luminar AI, I can start with a crop first, or I can start with a vignette first. I can start with whatever I want first and work my way up. So the set order isn't as critical. All right? Hey, so let's check out some of the questions. All right. Let me go to the top. Hello, everyone. Glad to see you. All right. all that matters, he says, when can we expect the Bokeh and the Sky 2.0 to be released? Well, Bokeh is coming towards the end. It's coming in this year, but towards the middle or the end of this year. AI 2.0 is here. And let me show you something real quick, just brief. All right, and only because you asked, all that matters is, let me come down, landscape. All right, that's one of them. Let's see if I have a better landscape up here for you. And by the way, so the whole purpose of the way we're doing these the YouTube here, within the first 5 minutes, the goal is to answer all your questions. And then, reading from the chat, what we're going to do is be able to apply some of the questions you have. Hopefully, we'll answer them before you sign off. All right, I'm not finding one that I absolutely love, but let me try. I just had one. Let's see. All right, we'll go here. And I know I have to find one of them in here. I had a perfect one earlier I wanted to show you. So let me see if I have it. Here we go. And, fine. So these are all new skies. And, here we go. All right. Let's use this one. Now, again, this isn't part of what we're doing, but all that matters, I'm doing this for you. All right? Typically, I'm going to come to my templates. Just grab any template I feel is going to make it look good. Clean Light usually does an incredible job. Ooh, Sunset looked good too. You know what? Let's go with Clean Light. I like Clean Light. Edit. Ooh. Look what we're doing. You're getting a real quick glimpse. And keep in mind, right now, Canada, Australia, and Austria. Those 3 countries have an early release of Luminar AI Update 2. All right? Why? We roll it out to those countries just to test it. Next week is when everybody will receive the free update. I'm going to give you a real quick glimpse because you asked the question on it. So let me continue. Let's grab this cloud here, and I'll make it quick. Now I replace the sky. Boom. Ready? Here's reflections. I can bring that in down to here. Look at that. And I can actually bring those clouds down. But not only can I bring the clouds down into here, but I can also come in and move the cloud, because we've always been able to do, up and down. We were able to adjust the clouds that way. However, now we're able to go from left to right and do a vertical offset. And notice when I do the vertical offset, it's also adjusting in the water. All right. So that was just a real quick demo I wanted to show you. And who says they have it already? Gary. Good. Gary says he already has it. And I'm just curious, who else has it? I wish I can give it to, obviously we wish we can give it to everyone right away, but we want to make sure that it rolls out properly and there's no hiccups with installing it. But make sure you come to these some of these YouTube channels so you could hear and see some of the new stuff that we're doing, and you can ask a bunch of questions, and as long as we keep it in the time frame, I'll try to answer them live. All right? And don't forget, you can also check out the Insiders program. So insiders.skylum.com, and if you go there, what we do is we have a Zoom meetup at 1 o'clock Eastern time every day, where you can actually ask interactive questions, and Russell is one of the people that go in there, which is pretty cool. All right? Now, before I forget and I leave, this is Women's Month, or International Women's Month, where we're honoring the many women who have just done amazing things for us. At Skylum, we have 4 that we wanted to really highlight, and these 4 have created some killer templates for everyone. Let's check it out. In honor of Women's Day, March 8th, 2021, Skylum's Marketplace will feature 4 very talented women who have created signature templates for Luminar AI. Michelle Grenier has designed 12 templates for your sports and action portraits. Nancy DeCampo has designed 10 templates for nature in the city. Kate Finney designed 12 special tones for the year. And Elena Lopez has designed 10 templates to enhance natural colors. Check them out on the Skylum Marketplace under Signature Templates. And there we have it. Again, happy International Women's Day. All right, we're next for the whole month. All right, so if you like tutorials like this, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget, put questions in the chat box here. Put the questions in, so if you want to see a tutorial or if you have questions on a feature, please drop it in so that this way we can address it on our next coffee break. Well, I'm Vanelli. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next coffee break.